Damien Hale, a wealthy and successful businessman, stands looking out of the big glass windows in his high-rise apartment in New York City. Behind him, a clumsy nurse is picking up her tools before leaving. The billionaire has terminal cancer and only has 6 months to live. During lunch with his best friend Martin, they discuss his illness and the fact that his daughter Claire doesn't know yet. Damien and Claire don't get along well because he was always busy with work and didn't spend much time with her during her childhood. Martin believes that if Claire learns about her father's sickness, she will forgive him and they will reconcile. As Damien and Martin part ways, Damien asks if Martin has ever heard of something called shedding, but Martin's confusion indicates otherwise. Later, in his limousine, Damien tries to call Claire, but she doesn't answer. He then pulls out a business card from a company named Phoenix Biogenetic and recalls his conversation with its owner, Dr. Albright. The doctor's main goal is to help brilliant people live longer and achieve their greatest potential. He has invented a device that can transfer consciousness from one body to another, a process known as shedding. The company offers new bodies genetically engineered to perfection for those who can afford them. Damien recalls asking the doctor why their service wasn't legal. Albright suggested that Damien was asking the wrong question, hinting instead at the feeling of immortality. After reminiscing and contemplating Albright's proposal, Damien visits his daughter Claire, who is managing a charity. He tries to mend their relationship by offering her money before he dies, but he doesn't reveal his illness. Claire rejects the money, believing her father is trying to control her, thinking money can fix everything. Feeling let down after his visit with Claire, Damien sits in his office, yearning for another shot at life. He digs deeper into the concept of shedding and the work of Phoenix Biogenic. He learns that Dr. Jensen created the procedure and views a video where Jensen talks about his aim to separate the mind from the body, enabling life beyond physical death. As Damien delves into his research on shedding, he suddenly coughs up blood and loses consciousness, a sign that his illness is getting worse. When he regains consciousness with oxygen tubes in his nose, he realizes the gravity of his condition and decides to contact Albright to arrange for the shedding process. Albright tells Damien that once they proceed with the switch, he must not contact anyone from his past life, essentially erasing his old existence. He also instructs Damien to go to New Orleans to stage his death publicly. Following this, Damien flies to New Orleans and invites Martin to meet for lunch. Before their meeting, Damien visits a graveyard in New Orleans and buries a mysterious box near a tomb. During their lunch, Damien pretends to have a seizure, collapsing to the ground, which panics Martin, leading him to call 911. Rather than heading to a hospital, the ambulance takes Damien directly to Phoenix Biogenic. Upon arrival, they immediately begin the procedure, injecting him with a substance and placing him, fully awake, inside the machine. The intense lights and loud noises are unsettling, but soon his awareness shifts into a new, younger body. Turning his head, Damien sees his former body, now lifeless, which causes him to feel shocked and nauseated, leading to him vomiting. Albright informs him that adapting to his new state will take some days, during which Damien begins to experience hallucinations. Objects around Damien begin to change shape, and he sees an image of a field with horses. Dr. Albright makes a sarcastic comment about the side effects of death. Now, Damien must remain in the clinic to undergo training and physical therapy to acclimate to his new body. With his old life out of reach, Damien also has to memorize a false biography and adopt a new identity as Edward Kidner. Despite initially feeling confused and desperate, he starts to appreciate his new, more attractive appearance. However, he continues to suffer from hallucinations and headaches. Albright explains that Damien's mind is still adjusting to the new brain structure and provides him with medication to ease the transition. If Damien doesn't take the pills, he risks death or experiencing severe migraines and hallucinations. He must remain in New Orleans for regular meetings with Albright to receive his weekly supply of pills. Once he completes his training, Damien, now known as Edward, moves to a large and beautiful house in New Orleans that he can call home. Adapting quickly to his new life, Edward starts participating in local activities like playing basketball in the neighborhood. He befriends Anton, his next-door neighbor, who invites him out. That night, they visit a club where Damien, now a strikingly handsome young man, attracts the attention of many women. Although Damien, now Edward, is fitting into his new life, he struggles to respond to questions about his background, job, and age, leading some people to find him odd. Nevertheless, he quickly establishes a new routine, spending time with friends, playing basketball, having relationships with beautiful women, obtaining his medication, going to clubs, and relishing his new existence. Eventually, however, this lifestyle ceases to fulfill him, particularly because he misses his daughter. Overwhelmed by his emotions, he one day neglects to take his medication, which leads to hallucinations. He experiences vivid flashbacks of military service and sees images of a small town characterized by a notable pumpkin tower. During his hallucinations, Damien sees a mother with her ill daughter living in the countryside. The vision is so intense and clear that he believes it to be a memory. He later shares this experience with Dr. Albright, who asserts that the visions are merely a blend of Damien's past memories and current feelings. To divert his focus, Dr. Albright provides him with tickets to Hawaii and increases his medication dose. He suggests that the vision of the sick girl reflects Damien's longing for his daughter, Claire, and speculates that the Latina woman in his hallucination might be someone Damien had a fleeting encounter with in his past. However, Damien becomes suspicious of Albright, especially because he never mentioned the woman's ethnicity to the doctor. Damien senses that something is amiss and later searches online for the pumpkin tower he saw in his hallucination. He discovers a matching tower in a small town near St. Louis. Seeking clarity, he decides to deceive Albright and travel to St. Louis instead of Hawaii. He revisits the graveyard to unearth the box he previously buried, which contains cash, documents, and credit cards. After taking some of these items, he heads to the airport. Although one of Albright's associates tries to track him, Damien manages to elude him and boards a flight to the small town. Hours later, Damien reaches the exact pumpkin tower he recognized from his vision. Nearby, he spots a house and knocks, but no one answers. Feeling a deeper mystery, he enters the house and discovers medical bills and components of a respirator machine inside. Crucially, he finds a photograph of Madeline and Anna, the mother and daughter from his hallucination, and shockingly, he also sees a picture of himself in his new body. This revelation indicates that his new body was not genetically engineered as claimed, but belonged to a real person with an existing life. While Damien grapples with this shocking reality, Madeline enters and, mistaking him for her presumed dead husband, points a gun at him. He urges her to stay calm and, as he turns to face her, she collapses to the floor, overwhelmed with emotion. Before Damien can fully explain the situation, Albright's agents storm in, incapacitate Madeline, and attempt to abduct Damien. Anton, revealing himself to be affiliated with Phoenix Biogenetics and having monitored Damien, arrives as well. He discloses that Madeline's husband, Mark, had consented to transfer his body in exchange for money to fund his daughter's medical care. Damien, astounded by the revelation, accuses Anton of complicity in Albright's lethal scheme. Anton coldly compares Damien's situation to buying a new car and discovering it has already been driven, implying that feeling upset is natural but futile. He warns Damien that returning to Madeline's home is pointless because they plan to kill her and destroy her property. However, Damien, guided by his strong ethical beliefs, decides to outsmart Albright's men to save Madeline. He pretends to take his medication, so he goes to the bathroom and attacks one of the men there. Leveraging the combat skills of Mark, whose body he inhabits, he eliminates several of Albright's men. In the process of rescuing Madeline, he loses his pills during a fight. Anton and the others try to burn the house down, but Madeline and Damien go under the platform and start shooting them in the legs. After eliminating all the attackers, Damien and Madeline escape to their car. Damien deceives her by claiming to be her husband Mark, saying he had to engage in questionable activities to afford Anna's medical treatments. They then rush to save Anna from school. Upon seeing Damien, Anna believes he is her father, running to embrace him, convinced he was still alive. Subsequently, the trio takes refuge in a motel, where Damien uses a computer to investigate Phoenix Biogenic further. He uncovers that Albright was a student of Dr. Jensen and also finds the address of Phyllis, Dr. Jensen's wife. Deprived of his medication, Damien begins to suffer from migraines and hallucinations. Despite Madeline's concern, he formulates a plan to visit Phyllis to gather more insights about Phoenix Biogenic. The following day, they drive to the nursing home where Jensen's wife, Phyllis, resides. Damien pretends to be a student conducting research on Jensen's work and persuades Phyllis to share her husband's old papers and documents. Given her Alzheimer's condition, Phyllis is convinced by Damien's story and starts telling him all sorts of information. During his investigation, Damien discovers regular visits by Albright to Phyllis, leading him to deduce that Jensen's consciousness is occupying Albright's body. He persuades Phyllis to call Albright, luring him to the nursing home. When Albright arrives, Damien confronts him at gunpoint, demanding additional pills. However, Albright reveals a harsh reality. The more Damien consumes the pills, the more Mark's persona, along with his combat skills and military training, fades away. Conversely, if Damien stops taking the pills, his own consciousness will diminish, allowing Mark's original identity to regain control of the body. Damien abducts Albright, forcing him to lead the way to the laboratory. However, as they navigate the hallway, Albright's associates ambush and disarm Damien. Just as they are about to escort him to a concealed vehicle, Madeline intervenes, attacking one of the men, revealed to be Anton in a different body. Anton's adeptness at swiftly adjusting to new bodies hints at his frequent participation in the shedding process. Damien manages to fend off another guard, but as he and Madeline prepare to flee, Anton, hinting at a concealed truth, urges Madeline to inquire Damien about their daughter's birthday. This warning suggests that Damien has secrets yet to be disclosed. When Damien and Madeline are in the car, Madeline, worried and protective as a mother, insists they stop as soon as it's safe. She wants clarity, especially after the encounter with Anton. Madeline questions Damien about Anna's birthday and other details of their shared life. Unable to provide satisfactory answers, Damien begins to explain the situation while Anna observes their argument from the car. Madeline becomes increasingly agitated and upset because of Damien's deception and the impending disappointment for Anna. She struggles with the idea of explaining to Anna that the man who looks identical to her father is actually a stranger. Albright's men pose a threat to Madeline's life as well, forcing her to reluctantly collaborate with Damien despite her lack of trust in him. Recognizing the danger, Damien devises a plan to seek assistance from Martin and ensure the safety of Anna and Madeline. Upon reaching Martin's mansion, Damien convinces Martin of the truth by recounting specific details only known to them. Martin agrees to help and orchestrates their escape. Subsequently, Damien faces the difficult task of explaining to young Anna that she will never see her father again. However, amidst this challenge, Damien begins to form a bond with Anna, creating new and cherished memories as a loving father figure. Damien spends quality time with Anna, teaching her how to swim, creating joyful memories. Watching them from the window, Madeline feels a surge of happiness. Drawn to Damien because he inhabits her husband's body, she feels an attraction towards him, leading her to ask to listen to his heart and then to kiss him. This makes Damien uncomfortable, prompting him to divert the conversation to his past life. He shares about his daughter Claire, leading to a deep and honest conversation between him and Madeline. However, the mood shifts when Damien notices that all the mirrors in the house are covered. Remembering that Martin's son died 2 years ago, Damien senses that there might be more to the situation than he initially thought. He rushes to locate Anna and finds her in a spacious children's room, playing with a young boy. He quickly realizes that Martin has also utilized Phoenix biogenetic services to give his deceased son a new body. Damien then discovers that Martin has betrayed them to Albright, with assassins poised outside to execute them. Confronting Martin, Damien reveals the grim truth. The child's body was not lab-generated but belonged to an actual, living child, another family's son. Horrified and repulsed by this revelation, Martin undergoes a change of heart and resolves to genuinely assist Damien and the others in their plight. He escorts Madeline and Anna on foot through a forest to a secure location. Damien acts as a diversion by driving off in a car, drawing Albright's men into a high-speed chase aimed at capturing and eliminating him. The pursuit escalates into a violent collision, resulting in a massive car accident involving all parties. Damien gets out of the car and makes sure everybody is dead before proceeding to the diner where he's supposed to meet the others. However, only Martin arrives. He explains to Damien how Madeline and Anna got ahead of him in the forest. They flag down a passing car for help, unaware that it belonged to Albright's men, leading to their kidnapping. Martin was unable to intervene as they were too far away. Additionally, Damien learns that Martin planted the business card from Phoenix Biogenetic to assist him. More importantly, he discovers that Martin has deciphered the formula for Albright's pills and can create them from scratch. However, Damien begins to question whether he should keep taking the pills, knowing that doing so essentially ends Mark's life. He postpones this decision for later, prioritizing the rescue of Madeline and Anna. The strategy is to abstain from the pill for 12 hours, relying on Mark's memories to gather intel about the lab's whereabouts. During his withdrawal, Damien notices a Mardi Gras float storage near Albright's lab, prompting him to travel to New Orleans in search of the storage facility. The following day, he locates the lab situated right next to the Mardi Gras storage. He infiltrates the lab, taking down several guards without raising an alarm. However, upon reaching the room where consciousness transfer occurs, he discovers 2 fresh bodies. Abruptly, Albright emerges behind a glass wall. Albright cynically remarks to Damien that Madeline was a perfect match for a new client's body and that Anna's organs wouldn't go to waste. Enraged, Damien fires shots at the glass barrier between them. However, two of Albright's men swiftly intervene, disarming Damien. Now, his body is slated to become a vessel for Anton's consciousness. Before stepping into the machine, Damien swallows a bullet without anyone noticing. As the process begins, Anton awakens in Mark's body. Albright immediately begins questioning him to ascertain whether it is indeed Anton who has transferred. After he's convinced, he sends him on a mission to assassinate Madeline and Anna. However, when Anton reaches their location, he kills the guards instead and saves the child. Turns out it was Damien inhabiting Mark's body. The trio flees and fight off Albright's men. They eventually find themselves in a room separated from Albright by a glass wall. Damien confronts the doctor, stating that he carefully listened to instructions before the first procedure. He remembered that the transformation won't work if there is metal on the bodies. By swallowing a bullet, he managed to remain in Mark's body. Albright underestimates Damien's resolve to kill him, believing Damien won't risk losing access to the pill formula. But he doesn't know that Martin cracked the code, so Damien burns the doctor with a torch. Once they flee the lab, Anna and Madeline are guided to safety by Martin. However, Damien doesn't come along. Instead, he goes to see Claire. He poses as her father's friend and starts opening up. He tells Claire that Damien regretted not spending time with her as a child and that he was proud of her. Before departing, he hands Claire a letter. As he leaves, Damien steals a last glance at Claire through the window. The scene transitions to Damien waking up in a hotel room, disoriented. He discovers a video on a computer that shows a recording of himself talking. Damien chose to stop taking the pills, letting Mark regain control of his own body, thus returning the life that was unjustly taken from him. Mark, though initially shocked, feels immensely grateful for this act. He reunites with Madeline and Anna, who have started a new life on a beautiful tropical island, bringing a sense of closure and new beginnings for them all. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.